Good morning, everyone. Okay. So, I just realized why you cannot teach these organic portals. How come we seem to have microdendritical evolution, we can learn things very quickly. They seem to have learning problems. And what's funny about that, before I get into this, I'm apparently the one with the learning problems. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. What I have is an attention deficit disorder to boring, third-dimensional, mundane, plain things. Things that aren't colourful and full of life, so to speak. Bore me. They make me bored so I tune out. It's not that I really have a deficit, it's that the world is a deficit. The third dimension is at a deficit. It's a fragment, is dead matter, is boring, it's slow, it's slower than the higher dimensions, etc. So, it's funny that they used to say that I had ADHD. I got re-diagnosed from ADD to ADHD when I was younger. And, I have a lot of energy. And I had really a lot of energy before I smoked any cannabis. Cannabis has really calmed me down and made me more of a thinker. I used to punch before thinking of the consequences. If someone pissed me off, I'd just smack them in the head. This was me at 10 years old. Someone, would do a stupid mum joke and I'd smack them in the face and pull them in line. That's what I did. Just didn't want to put up with it. And when I was a child, I realized I couldn't get in trouble. I was like invincible at 10. Only when I got to high school, I started pulling myself into line, realized, you can go to jail now, you're 16. They can put you in the hole. You know what I mean? That's how I saw it when I went into about grade 8 and grade 9 at high school. But before that, I was invincible and everybody knew me as the crazy one. You don't fuck with him because he's the crazy one. It's just, you might be a good fighter, but so is he. He's crazy as well, though. Are you crazy also? And it was like that. Anyway, so long story short, though, now, I think a lot more before I act. And, it's a state of repression. It can be helpful to bring you to consciousness. It's half like that. But the other half does seem to me some kind of, taming and repression of some kind of, more wild and hence natural nature, where you free flow more. It's not that I was just violent, it was that I didn't want to take shit from them. I'm still like that. You guys still see me, get my knickers in a knot and get annoyed because things are annoying. And you say, well, you can let it go, and I'm a master of the mind and all that, but again, it's half. If you look at something, you'll learn from it. If you, let it slide off because you want to be positive, you're ignoring it as well. So, there's two sides to that whole thing. Anyway. So I've always been like that. I don't really like to take nonsense, and because that's what they're always like, these organic portals, illogical, trying to cause like a little bit of mayhem somehow. But, I used to cause trouble, but it was because we were bored and in a completely different fashion. As a young man, head of spirit, we're very exploratory. I used to do a lot of exploring with this reality, I'll tell you what. I could tell you some stories. But what they do is like nefarious and evil, and like it's just malice, evil and nefarious and sneaky and like snake-like, They call this planet Snakeados, planet of the snake people. For a long time now. A lot of old world shamans said that too. Anyway, so that's just what I wanted to mention as well. That, they do the little sly things, and we all know about like the gaslighting, but like they try and set you up to fight other people. They try and just manipulate you in those type of ways. All the little sly things they'll say to you, and you realize after exactly how ill-intentioned it was, because you're not walking around with ill intention inherently psychopathic like them. It's like they walk around like that so much more. Maybe you can fall into that if you have a bad ego day, but it's like they're like that all the time. And, that's the real bad case. The real dysfunctional ones are indeed like that, narcissistic all the time. And, they're acidic and the mind has been taken over and so on. So, yeah, anyway, I just wanted to talk about the organic portals like that, how they, come in with all the little comments that are real little sly things. I used to just not take it at all. And I used to just always, show my spirit. You see, some people, and this is what these NPCs, they like want you to be inured. It's another reason we call someone else a neutral mannequin as well. It's like a false fight that guy has up. Anyway, so, they always come like this. You'll see this, that these organic portals, they make these little sneaky remarks. They try and make you really hate someone else. And recently I've been doing all these videos where you might think that I'm like doing that kind of thing. All these videos against other channels, right? All the people's videos that I make, like saying, basically I'm trying to correct them and trying to bring you guys to realization about certain things of these other channels that I feel people are not seeing so well, and have like sometimes a hypnosis effect. And I'm trying to show that to people, and then what they do is they retard this process of realization by saying, oh, he's just envious, oh, he's just jealous. I've faced the real jealousy, and you can tell, because if you're bringing answers and people are ignoring it, they're ignoring it. It's called ignorance. Whoa, amazing epiphany. Anyway, oh God, sorry. Sorry to be sarcastic, but honestly, they bring it out in me. See, they bring the psychopathy out in us. So in a way, it's good, but also bad, right? How they trigger us, target the ego a lot and stuff. It is part of honing you to make you more realizant and more conscious of, your reaction, what you have inside. You might not have registered everything consciously. So they do bring you to more consciousness like that, and they're a mirror in that fashion, yes, the organic portals, because they mirror us in that fashion. And then can also do these seeming, triggers, so they don't just mimic our energy to show us like a mirror. Like if you're standing in the mirror, you see everything very, very clearly. Like, I don't know how your facial expression is or something, and which connotates a emotional expression and a archetypal expression and so forth. Like when a human is in the seven devils, like if you're in one of the seven devils you face, I've been there. Of course, I've been through all experience because I've done a lot of exploring, not being afraid to go anywhere. Hello, Pussy. Pussy. Talking. Hold on. Oro just came in. Come on, mate. There you go. There you go. Alright, what was I saying? Like, but when we are using like different energies and stuff, it comes through, and for them it's just that it comes through them more unconsciously, and the whole process for us is coming to consciousness, right? As a spirited human, this seems to be also part of our own journey in a way. The universe is not simple and flatlined and monotone explanation. You can't explain it with one model. Right, so it's very, we just have to endlessly explain things. Have you noticed that? It's not that easy. It really isn't that easy. You always think you found the answer in a model, and then you realize, oh, hold on, what about this? It doesn't explain this. And you need another model, and we've got all these models, right, of reality. We're model makers. And that's part of, a process of coming to consciousness for us as well. And, for them, they don't seem to really, what do they do with these things? They don't really seem to do much, especially the base organic portal. The Dark Masters, they use the models of reality to control people. The 4D, fourth dimensional Dark Masters, organic portals who use fear and so forth, mass media, hypnosis, etc., all the brainwashing over the third dimensionals, keep them in fear. They use models of reality as control models, but then the third dimensional and the second dimensional, ones, organic portals, they can barely use them. And for us, it's for higher purpose, for, a higher realm taxonomy, trying to figure out what is going on here exactly. Maps of hyperspace, so to speak, not just maps of, the road here where you live, out front of your house, but maps of the inner mind of hyperspace, inside yourself as well. And they don't do that, they don't seem to care about their mind. We have a much more higher care level, I think, for our ourself. And in a in the selfish way, in the right way. It's not being overly nefariously selfish, but just to the point of neutral ego. The neutral basic ego is to be able to put food in your mouth, to know that you are a zonal reality body which has to put food in your mouth, But they don't go past that, and then they are always seemingly slipping endlessly only negatively into, the bad or horrible or terrible aspects of the ego and all the vices. I said that in a video recently. They're very vice-related people, very vice-based, like without realizing it. There are some organic portals which, their higher great work seems to be mastering basic, like human, their higher work seems to be, their highest work seems to be mastering like themselves, their body, right? We're trying to master the mind to master the body, and it seems a little bit different for them. For the organic portal, it seems to me that it's very much more body-based, less like of the philosophy and the mental stuff will be in there. And they're more empty, and it comes out like that. You see the emptiness in their lives, so to speak, like that. Now, but we all vacillate. Like I have an empty social life these days. I used to be a socialite at high school. I was a very popular guy and socialite, go out all the time. And now I don't go out at all. I've gone completely the opposite. I knew when I was a kid, when I grew up, I would have greater responsibility, so I was really wild. I was super wild. I'd do just about anything when I was a kid. I was very wild and exploratory. So we had a mad time growing up in Australia. Real good. Very free. And, they're not like that. They're very boundary, boxed mind people. And that's less conscious state. That's not more conscious. It's like when I said recently in a video a few months ago, they're those girls who are like, I respect my body too much to use it. Well, girl, here's a philosophy, you little tight ass. I don't mean that in a sodomic, it's in a sodomic sense. It's like just a phrase, like uptight, so to speak. Here's a little phrase. If you want to be enlightened, lighten up. And also, here's another philosophy. There's more to be learnt from your own body than the greatest philosophies. That's a good quote that these people need to realize. There's more to be learnt from your own body than the greatest philosophies. That's a good one on, not just listening to other idols outside of yourself, false idling too much, listening to other people too much, cross horizontally, is not vertical in your own spirit and your own higher thoughts. So I recommend thinking for yourself, vertically. And that's what I do a lot of more now, but see, they vacillate to the other end. They want to know what other people think about them more. And so look at the other channel we call the neutral mannequin and see why we call them neutral. Anyway, what was I going to say? No, the organic portal is a different thing. This is what you have to realize. You are a spirit. They are a spiritless body. At the basic 2D organic portal base NPC level, it's just a body that you're talking to. And you know how you have problems with your body? Like when it gets acidic, when you don't, as a consciousness, have enough alkaline food that week. Maybe you turn acidic, you don't go to the beach, you don't ground, you start to get a little agitated and acidic, and you start to get negative in thought a lot. You're spinning down, not spiraling up. Well, I said that before, that a negative soul human is doing the same thing and has the same frequencies as an organic portal. Another way to be neutral and not be so soulful. Remember, I made a video, got soul, then use it. We need to stop acting and being like them. Stop, being like how they want you to be. Be how you want to be, only. We've really got to start. I guess we can't say only, because then the world just, disseminates only into, very separative nature. So we have, they are a stabilization function, and it's like they hold us together like jelly more, If we're all just sitting around meditating every day and, this is partly part of the future and the indigo evolution, as the robots will do your, task work. But, we can't go 100% that way, right? It's a different type of death. You are here in some respect to experience that outer surface world as well. Okay, I know we're here basically to uplift this place out of the hellish state that it is in. We destroy this place by uplifting it, not fighting fire with fire. And it's time-based, this is a time-based place. It takes time. Yes, an organic portal can be awakened through the dimensional process. The third dimension is the seed point of sovereignty. The ego is the seed point of sovereignty. But there is an awakening process to a fourth dimensional feeling body and a fifth dimensional telepathic and multi-dimensional light body state, higher states, right? And this is a dimensional progression that any body can undergo. Doesn't matter what the body is. It can be a cricket, a whale, a human, but any body can undergo a higher organizational principle, higher strata reorganization and phase state change upwardly. Doesn't matter, it can be anybody. So technically organic portals can be awoken, but we're not going to do it because it'll take too many epochs or creodes. Creodes are cycles of completion, and that's why we're not going to wake them up. There's some on the edge. They're called, the followers on the edge. You guys don't listen to that Goldring videos so much, but I think he got a lot of good nomenclature, a lot of accurate meaning into word. That Riser from Goldring Game of Enlightenment and Abundance videos, the playlist. Sorry I deleted some because they had some copyright. I'm taking all the copyright material off. I hope you guys are going to keep donating, because then I don't have to put ads on the videos. You know, I don't like ads on other videos, so I don't want to do it to you guys. Anyway, so please sometimes just give a random donation. That would be really nice, so I don't have to, you know, go on and ask, you know, for donations. I don't just receive them every day. That'd be great, but I don't. So if you can make a donation, you know, I really appreciate it when it shows up. Anyway, my PayPal will be shown in other videos. Okay, back to what we were talking about. Now, I've forgotten why I started this video, so I just sort of ranted off into talking about organic portals a bit, but just let me try and think for a second if I can get back on track here. Because I can't remember the video title, and the video title obviously always makes me, you know, think about what to talk about. Oh, it's early. Forgive me. Right. Now, I find organic portals we might just call this further discussion on organic portals, or just discussing organic portals, maybe. I find that they're very flat, but look, that was what I was saying before. Like, when I used to be young, I used to punch before thinking sometimes, but the thing that I was saying was why that was actually a better, more free state, was because I was more free-flowing with my higher mind, and less of the ego-compromised mind was, oh, you'll get in trouble, oh, this or that. That's the compromised mind, that's fear. That's the third dimensional compromised medium fourth dimensional platform of the ego platform, or the compromised mind. It is a compromised system, and it wants to compromise you, and that's part of actually downloading, you know, your higher 100% higher light stream of spiritual thought, and disseminating it into this lower crap world. It is part of how it works. Neutrality in a neutral sense, but it's also, if you use it too much, too compromising, you know. So I used to just be very free flow, and without that compromising thought structure all the time of I can get in trouble or this or that. And I have to say, I didn't get in worse problems. I solved a lot of problems in this natural fashions, to be honest. Now, yeah, it can create problems too, and let's not go into that. It's beyond the scope of this video. But I was trying to say that, you know, there's a compromised mind, and they always use that. They're always compromising you. They're always trying to compromise the forward motion. I said there's a stabilization functionality on any given species morphogenetic field. That's how they act, as a stabilization function in the code of the matrix, and of our species, or any species, right? That's how the organic portals are. And so the lowest one, the 2D one, the 1D hologram, or the 2D spiritless human, you know, they're the lowest flat nature, or the least changeable, because the highest rate of change is occurring in the higher dimensions, right? The least amount of change happens down here. This is the lower, slower vibration, and the cogs are turning slowly here. With the cognition of the brain, it's quite slow compared to the inner quantum mind. You notice it's much more instant. There's no processing. Anyway, So they are of that electronic processing, third dimensional electric field mind, which the archons